Vault Veritas. SCP Files. Episode 92. Sorted. Incident Report 7539-2. Second known report related to SCP-7539, colloquially known as the Predatory Bus. Object Class: Euclid. Risk Assessment Level: Low. Reported by Camilla Salvius, civilian. Report made May 4th, 2024. You're some kind of secret police, right? You showed up way faster than the actual cops did to take my report, and they just kinda let you. I don't know what you're going to do with this, but just take it and don't look back, okay? Don't contact me again. It was a singular, weird thing that happened once, and I want to go on with my life without ever having to think about it again. Sorry if that comes off as irritable. I'm not mad at you. In fact, it was actually kind of relieving to say it out loud and not feel crazy for a minute. But I'm just tired, all right? Working the late shift every day will do that to you. I get out late. Like, really late. Catch the last possible bus late. And it's always the same. We got Julio, who sits across from me, a few rows up. He's the manager at some new restaurant. Guy swears he takes the first bus in every morning and the last one home every night. Says that's just how opening a place is. Nothing but work and sleep. And from how he looks, all haggard and half asleep. Yeah, I believe him. Then up front, there's Marge. She's always in the front seat, right behind the driver. Says she likes to watch for muggers, and she claims she'd fight anyone shady right off the bus. Never happens, of course. She just sits there, talking the driver's ear off with the same old stories, while he pretends not to hear her. Last one, aside from me, is Ronnie. She used to sit up front too, but she got sick of Marge pretty quick and moved back behind me. She's quiet. I don't know a whole lot about her. She gives me a nod and a smile when she gets on, then puts her earbuds in and disappears for the rest of the ride. Driver said once she lives all the way at the end of the line. Pretty rural, even for around here. And that's it. Sometimes there's a random straggler, but mostly it's just us. Every day, the same seats, the same faces. I've memorized the whole route at this point. Every house, every stoplight, every cracked sidewalk. I just stare out the window while the days drag by, watching this whole sad, decaying place we all call home pass on by. So when I saw the other bus tonight, the hair on the back of my neck stood up immediately. It looked the same as ours, the same size, the same color, the same make. but it was coming from a direction that I swear I've never seen a bus come from. We don't have another bus route. This one is it. And yet, there it was, pulling up to the same light we were stopped at. And even though it must have had a green light, it stopped too. I couldn't stop looking at it. I kept sweeping my eyes over it as we were paused there together, searching for something noticeably off other than its simple presence. It didn't take long to start noticing the abnormalities. At first, it was the spacing of the windows. The interior looked normal enough at a glance, but the windows themselves were each slightly tilted, slightly off-center, some a little higher than others, some a little too thin. Then I realized the whole bus looked fuller than it should have been. Not bigger, but swollen. It bulged in the middle, ever so slightly, as though something inside were pressing outwards against the metal. I scanned for passengers and saw no one. No movement, no shadows, no one sitting, no one standing, just rows of empty seats behind windows that didn't quite fit right. And then, as our light turned and we slowly drove past it, I realized something further. There was no driver. The other bus swung in behind, running its red in an eager bid to follow, and continuing its strange, driverless movement. It began to gain. Not quickly, almost imperceptibly at first. But after a few moments of staring, eyes locked on that vacant driver's chair, I noticed the round, bright glow of its headlights were growing larger. By this point, I was not the only one watching. Our own driver must have seen it too, for I heard him mutter to himself in confusion that that wasn't right. It wasn't one of theirs. Our bus sped up, pushing the top of the rather restrictive speed limit. The other bus continued to gain. "It's tailgating us," Ronnie said. She'd been twisted in her seat, watching it too, but now she stood and moved towards the back. She knelt on the seat, leaning over it to get a better look through the rear window. I saw her frown deepening as she studied it. And then it suddenly dropped into horror. I heard the attack before I began to understand it. A sharp metallic screech, as though someone was trying to slice into metal with a hot knife. Ronnie screamed and tried to stumble back towards the rest of us. I didn't move. I was frozen, eyes locked onto the other bus. Behind her, through the window, the front end had split open, right down the middle lengthwise. The metal peeled apart in jagged, serrated edges that looked almost like teeth. And then, in a screeching cacophony of scraping steel, it lunged. Its jaw clamped down onto the back of our bus. We lurched violently. Ronnie was sent hurtling back, through the twisting frame and into the rear seats again. I was tossed hard against my own, my ribs striking the plastic shell, hard enough to knock the breath clean out of me. For a moment, I couldn't think, I couldn't hear, and I couldn't see. Dark spots swam in my vision until finally coalescing into a warping scene. Ronnie was slumped across her seat. The rear window had spiderwebbed fractures running through it, smeared through with blood. Around her, the metal frame of the bus had bent inward, warping as the thing bit down harder. Jagged metal punctured our hull, and when it had a firm enough grip, it started to lift us up and slam us back down. Up and slam. Up and slam. Again and again. I don't know if we rolled, or if it was shaking us like a predator shakes its prey. I was jostled left and right, up and down. So many times all I could do was hold on for dear life, while the grinding sound of crushing metal was everywhere. Then, for one moment, one shining moment, the teeth withdrew, sliding and scraping out of the holes they'd punctured in our hull. I thought, perhaps, the bus had been too much for this creature, that it had let us go to seek an easier meal. And then we were swallowed. The light vanished, cut off as the jaws sealed behind us. Then came the pressure, a crushing as the space around us tightened, pressing the frame of the bus inward towards us. The floor inclined, then shifted, then wasn't a floor at all anymore, as the whole bus was tilted upward. I tried to look around me, to get my bearings, but nothing stayed where it should. The seats bent under my hands, warping as they were squeezed, giving way into sharp, spiky protrusions. The air felt wrong in here, hotter and thicker, and every sound, every scream, every scrape of metal echoed, dull and heavy. Around us, the bus moved. The walls contracted inward in a slow, rolling motion. It pressed into my back, my legs, my bruised ribs, and then released, only for the next wave to follow moments later. As the frame moved under me, I found myself involuntarily sliding. But I didn't slide downwards. I moved up. At first, I didn't understand it. My hands scrabbled against the shifting surface, trying to find something to hold on to keep myself stable. But there was nothing stable left. Every time I found purchase, trying to brace myself against some handhold, the next contraction would come and lift me again, inch by inch. The warped plastic and metal scraped against me, but somehow it wasn't jagged here. It should have sliced my skin to ribbons with how badly it had been crushed. But instead, every time it touched my body, it seemed soft, gentle, but insistent, pushing me upwards, inch by adamant inch. I cried out for Ronnie, remembering suddenly her slumped figure, and twisted, panic spiking in my throat. She was below me, still slumped where she'd fallen, tangled in the warped remains of the back row. The metal around her was bending further inward, tightening, folding in on itself. Each wave that pushed me upward seemed to pull her farther away, deeper into it. I called for her over and over, trying to push myself back down. I tried to fight the squeezing, to reach out to her, but each contraction forced me higher, dragging me away no matter how hard I clawed at the shifting surface beneath me. "Ronnie!" I screamed it this time, trying desperately to wake her, but it was not her who answered. The space around us seemed to groan. It was not a metallic scrape like everything else had been, but more the groan of machinery clogged with something it was not meant to handle, to process. The floor gave way entirely, splitting open beneath her in jagged seams. I saw glimpses past it, brief flashes of what was happening deeper inside. I saw something churning below, crushing everything that fell into it, folding and working, slicing off metal in chunks and snapping into it like brittle bones, shattering glass into sand-like shards. The entire body of the bus was being drawn downward into something that ground it apart. And Ronnie didn't fall. The next wave hit, and she moved. Up, back towards us. Somehow, even as the metal fell away around her into the pit that churned below her, something lifted her up towards the rest of us, towards the safety of the relatively uncrushed top half of the bus. Wave by wave, we were pushed free. Whatever this was, whatever was happening, it did not want us. Instead, it was moving us, sorting us. The space around us tightened, pressing in from all sides. It moved, shifting and rolling until all four of us were forced together, our bodies crushed against each other in a tangled heap. And Ronnie, slowly, was lifted inch by grueling inch up out of the depths. As her bloodied body joined our mashed pile, we were squeezed once again, tighter this time, forced in against each other in a groaning, sweaty mass of limbs and breath and pain. My bruised ribs screamed as I was pressed into Marge, and I managed to twist just enough to grab hold of Ronnie's sweater, just in case. I didn't know what would happen next, but I wasn't going to lose her again. And then, release. We burst forward as the front of the thing split open, just as it had before. It spat us out onto the road in a heap of skin and fabric, gasping for breath. We peeled apart from each other, pulling ourselves away on scraped hands. Disoriented, battered, but alive, and mostly unharmed. Even Ronnie had begun to stir at last. I don't know what the others did after that, but I stayed to watch the rest of the process. I watched that thing finish eating our bus. Once we were out, it changed. The front warped inward, folding and pressing and grinding in a slow, deliberate rhythm. The sounds. God, the sounds. Metal screamed and collapsed, tore itself apart, and forced itself into something new. I think it was chewing, digesting. The whole thing seemed to shift as it worked, expanding and then settling, like it was incorporating what it had taken, becoming something slightly larger, slightly heavier, slightly more bulging than it had been before. I think it was bigger when it was done. Or perhaps that's just a delusion of a stretched mind. I don't know. Once it was finished with its meal, it reformed, twisting and grinding and stretching until it was a bus once again, and drove off into the night like nothing at all had happened. It's strange to be eaten like that, but to not be the target. I don't think it wanted us. Maybe we just tasted bad. We weren't bus-like enough. It's a strange thing to realize that you survived because you didn't matter. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Ronnie's at the hospital. They think she's got a concussion, but she'll likely be okay. I'm thinking I might go too. Get my ribs checked. Make sure nothing's broken. Not sure what I'll tell them, though. I can't exactly walk in and say a bus ate my bus. They'd lock me up for sure, so... I don't know. Maybe I'll say it was a car accident. Or maybe you people will take care of that part. Whatever. I think I'll start talking more. With Ronnie and Julio. Maybe even Marge. Some sort of survivors club. Maybe some of them will stop taking the bus after this, though. I wouldn't blame them. But what else can you do around here? It's not like our public transport is getting expanded anytime soon. Just, please, try to catch that thing, won't you? I really would like the rest of my life's rides to be in peace. A bus-eating bus. There really is no end to the universe's creativity. I was going to say this one might make me wary of public transit, but it's not like I have much of a commute these days. And I imagine the Foundation has already tracked the thing down and tucked it away somewhere safe. Not that it wasn't already safe enough, I suppose. It didn't hurt people, didn't even seem to notice them, really, beyond ejecting them from their seats. It simply sorted them out of the way. I'll have to ask Niall about it when he gets back from his meeting. Maybe make a joke out of it. Something about these reports driving us to madness, huh? Yikes. Okay, maybe I'll just stick to general support.
Vault Veritas SCP Files is a podcast inspired by the SCP Foundation. Sorted is based on SCP-7539 by Jekylled from the SCP Wiki located at scp-wiki.com/SCP-7539. It is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 3.0 unported license. This episode featured Justin Gellner as Scott Anderson. It was written and edited by Leola Angel. We welcome comments. Please rate and review us, email us at vaultveritas@gmail.com, or join our Discord channel using the link in the episode description. Thanks for listening.